Living in Lower Alabama, snow was a rarity. I spent my whole life wishing for a white Christmas, but it never came. In 33 years, I'd only seen snow twice. I always dreamed of sharing it with my two boys, knowing they'd love playing in it. Now, as I stare out the window at mounds of snow burying my home, I regret every wish I ever made for a snow-covered Christmas. It started last summer. Our summers are always hot and humid, but that year was worse. Temperatures soared past 100 degrees for weeks. Everyone was desperate for relief. Then, just before Halloween, a massive hurricane spawned in the Gulf. The local weatherman called it a monster. To me, it was a demon, bringing a kind of hell I'd never imagined. The storm left devastation across the southeast, hitting Florida the hardest. Aid poured in, utility workers, government agencies, and volunteers. It was inspiring to see, and for a moment, we thought the worst was over. Then the rain came. It started in early November, harmless at first. A few days of rain turned into weeks. Low-lying areas flooded, homes were swept away, and levees broke. Our town, being on higher ground, was spared. My wife, Susan, thanked God for our home's elevation. I echoed her relief, though deep down, I wondered if any God could be behind what was happening. By Thanksgiving, the rain stopped, but the cold came. Not the usual chill we felt in late January, this was harsher. Temperatures plummeted near freezing, then kept dropping. My oldest, Jacob, started singing Bing Crosby's White Christmas. Susan was thrilled at the idea of snow. I felt a flicker of childish excitement too. "The boys will finally see snow, Paul," Susan said, beaming. "I know," I replied. "I can't wait to see Tommy waddling in it." When snow began falling in early December, it was magical. Within hours, inches piled up. At first, we let the boys play in it, but as the drifts grew taller than me, we kept them inside. Our town wasn't prepared for snow. Roads closed, people stayed home, and stores ran out of supplies. I managed to snag one of the last snow shovels, but it wasn't enough. The flurries turned into blizzards. The news grew grim. Northern states were buried, and the president declared a state of emergency, urging evacuations south. But our situation wasn't much better. Temperatures dropped below zero. Pipes burst, homes lost water, and heating systems struggled. We wore layers indoors, huddled around a makeshift fire in our unused fireplace. By Christmas, we had no power. Utilities stopped trying to repair lines. Officials abandoned us. People fled south, but I was too afraid of what waited in Florida after the hurricane. We stayed put. On Christmas morning, I woke to a house darker and colder than it should have been. The fire had gone out. I went to the back door to gather more wood but was hit by an icy blast. Snow had buried the house completely, blocking out light. Susan woke and checked on the boys while I tried to restart the fire. Then I heard her scream. I ran to their room. The window had collapsed under the weight of snow. It had buried Jacob and Tommy in the night. Susan had tried to dig them out, but it was too late. Their pale blue faces were locked in a final embrace. I pulled her away, fighting back the bile rising in my throat. Something broke inside her that morning. She became a shell of herself, silent and unresponsive. I sat her by the fire, wrapped her in a blanket, and returned to the boys' room. I cleared the snow and moved their small, lifeless bodies to the guest room, shutting the door behind me. By the time I returned, Susan was gone. The back door was ajar, leading to a tunnel in the snow. I followed her tracks until they vanished under frozen drifts. I dug desperately but found nothing. Exhausted, I sat in the snow, numb and defeated. I burned everything I could find to keep the fire going: chairs, heirlooms, even the unopened Christmas gifts. Each one felt like a goodbye. I imagined the boys playing with their toys, Susan snapping pictures with her wide smile. The memories haunted me, and the guilt consumed me. We should have left when we had the chance. Now, I sit alone in this frozen tomb, scribbling these words. My food is nearly gone, and there's nothing left to burn. Tomorrow, I'll try to dig out. If someone finds this, know I didn't give up, I just waited too long. Susan, Jacob, Tommy, I'm so sorry. You deserved better. I hope you can forgive me.